This is Jim Williams with the Hurricane City Tropical Update video for July 1st, 8:30 a.m. Hurricane Alex made landfall last night right near La Pesca, Mexico, and is now inland, dumping tremendous amounts of rain in the inland areas of Mexico here. It just got downgraded to tropical storm status, so it should quickly start to wind down as it gets into the mountain ranges out here and dumps a ton of rain as it squeezes all that energy out and becomes a tropical depression over the next 24 hours. Here's the HurTrack program, and let me go back to show you what happened. This is the full course of our system of what happened with Alex. This was Invest 93L, and the system became a tropical storm and approached the Yucatan Peninsula, but it came in around the country of Belize. So Belize will be in the city database at Hurricane City as a direct hit from a tropical storm. Punta Allen, however, up in here, that was our feature at the time, did not get affected by this. They are outside the tropical storm force wind field, so they did not get affected by this. And now if we put it in motion across the Yucatan Peninsula, it took quite a punch out of this as it approached the western Yucatan Peninsula, came into the Bay of Campeche, ran into a little bit of upper-level southwesterly wind shear for a while, and then started to get its act together and approached the coast last night. Became almost a major hurricane. It had major hurricane pressure, but ran out of real estate before it could become a major hurricane, but it came very darn close as it came in near La Pesca, Mexico, and then it should wind down here over the next 24 hours. That's the past track of our system. All right, here is the forecast from the National Hurricane Center, including the past track. As I just showed you, came over the Yucatan, gained strength, almost became a major hurricane. And here we are, 2 a.m. on Friday. It's a tropical depression, and that would be tomorrow, actually, at 2 a.m., and this will wind down. It's not going to make it into the Pacific. I don't think there's going to be enough energy left out of this thing. These mountains are going to absolutely shred this thing. But it's amazing this has held together its inner core as well as it has, and I'm sure there's people inland that are feeling some very high winds this morning. Here it was right at landfall. Beautiful shot from the NRL site, and you can see the eye right on shore. Beautiful shot, presentation, visible. This is a textbook classic hurricane. The outer banding features, the high pressure aloft. It had everything going for it, warm sea surface temperatures. And again, luckily this wasn't over water for much longer. We would have had ourselves a very intense hurricane. Here's the radar, latest radar out of the affected areas. And again, you can see the all the rain here in the inland areas of Mexico. This is going to be the big story of this, is flooding, inland flooding, and there's going to be fatalities over the next several days from flooding on the inland areas. Here is the map of the area that was affected last night. And again, sparsely populated areas here, La Pesca and surrounding areas, as this 105-mile-an-hour hurricane came in. But now we have Ciudad Victoria that's getting very heavy rainfall, Monterey, Saltillo. All these areas are going to be affected by very heavy rain over the next 24 hours, and that's going to be where the big story is with this. All right, what else is going on out in the tropics? Let's go ahead and take a look at the water vapor loop of the Atlantic Basin. And we have a big upper level low, a big tut out in the middle of the Atlantic. And here it is right here, circling around, and we have about 40 to 50 knots of shear through the Windward Islands and out into the Atlantic. Now, interestingly, there's a couple of models, the European model, which did a very good job on Alex, by the way, and the Canadian model, taking this tropical wave right here, which is not yet an invest, it may be in a couple of days, off to the west-northwest, very near the islands and in this general direction here. So we're going to watch that closely to see if this tut is still here and shearing this. It probably will be, but we'll continue to monitor that. And there's another strong wave coming off Africa. Now, the no gaps is indicating there's a blob down here that's going to move north in about 4 to 5 days from now and start heading north. So we'll keep an eye on that as well and see if the no gaps model pans out. But overall, unfavorable conditions in the Atlantic Basin right now. But that's not unusual for the end of June. All right, here's the model history on Alex. And here we are early on when it was just TD number 1, right northeast of Honduras here. And none of the models really, the only model that was close to this track where it came off the coast was the GFS and the CMC. And again, the European is not listed here. The European did very well on this as well. There we are on June 26th, and this is right as it's entering the country at Belize. And look at the no-gaps model. Almost nailed this track that far out. Not the no-gaps, the GFDL model, rather. GFDL really nailed this course. This is like going on a 5-day path here, and it has it almost where it is right now with a little bit bend to the southwest. So the no-gap, I keep wanting to say no-gap, the GFDL model did very well with this. And here we are as it's exiting the Yucatan Peninsula. And at that time, the Hurricane Center had the path nailed, and I think this is the UK Met. Yeah, UK Met had a pretty good beat on this at that point. And then here's our final 28th as it's off the Yucatan Peninsula. And again, the models were tightly clustered. And here it looks like probably the GFDL model had the best path on this thing as it came in and it kind of dipped off to the southwest a little bit. And then finally the models as it was making landfall on the final day here, the Hurricane Center, of course, they always do a good job with the forecast track. The intensity was a big problem on this, although there were a few models that indicated this was not going to strengthen rapidly. They were right up until about 12 hours before landfall. That's when things really started cranking up with this. All right, here's the wind shear in the Atlantic Basin right now. And let's pan this out a little bit. And the aqua areas are upper level wind shear. And again, look at it all out here, 20, 30, 40, 50 knots of shear out here. Nothing can develop when you have wind shear like that. And this is going out 2 days, so these waves are going to struggle a little bit. Here's the pressure in the Atlantic Basin. Anywhere you see dark purples and dark colors, those are low pressures. And the lighter colors like the reds and the yellows are higher pressures. So the low pressure is all over the Atlantic Basin right now. Look at it here, all these low pressures. And that's one of the reasons why Hurricane Alex strengthened so rapidly when it had the opportunity. And this is what scares me about the rest of the hurricane season is the low pressures out there. We're going to have big, powerful hurricanes that are well formed. With the upper level support, they will flourish and become monsters in the Atlantic this year. Here are the 78-degree isotherm map from the Hurricane Research Division. And this is another thing that kind of startles me a little bit. Hurricane Alex went through temperatures that are 78 degrees that are only about maybe 50, 75 meters, maybe 150 to 300 feet below the surface. But look here in the Caribbean Sea, how far those 78-degree temperatures go down. Even east of Florida out here, it's all similar to what we saw in the Gulf of Mexico out here. So there's plenty of fuel for hurricanes this year to tap into. If Alex is any indication, we're going to see some monsters with these isotherm temperatures out there. Again, they're working on the rigs out there. The rigs are working. They stayed up through the storm in about 10 to 15 foot seas. They're continuing with the relief wells. The skimmers are still not back out there capturing the oil because of the high seas, but they should be calming down over the next day or two and get back out there and get back to work. But nothing got disrupted for the relief wells being drilled. And speaking of which, we're going to have the live oil cams on hurricanecity.tv for the next several days. I'm going to be heading out of town, so we're going to leave these cams up. And here's an oil cam on the right side. Usually all 6 of these are working, but right now only a few of them are working. But the oil is continuing to spill out, as you can see in the lower right-hand corner. It's just gushing out of that well, so we're going to continue to see oil piling up on the beach. It's just a tragic situation. All right, well, that's it for now. We'll be back in a few days with another update. Again, I'll be out of town. I won't be able to do any updates, and probably by the weekend I'll have some more updates on the waves out in the Atlantic. And by the way, we did record the hurricane warning show from last night that I did as Alex made landfall, but it looks like we're not going to archive that. There just wasn't enough data and information from the affected areas to make it a worthy archive. So that's it for now. Thank you again for visiting Hurricane City.